number one, trading plan. Number two, have discipline and just a solid routine in your whole life. And number three, be in a financial spot where you're actually going to be able to mentally operate on your A game. So I think those are the three biggest things for people that are trying to get it funded.
We're coming up to the end of the show, and I wanted to ask you, Jesse. You've been around, you've seen, you sort of done a lot of challenges, you've seen various variations. What is the key things you want to put into your toolkit? As somebody who's new, who's coming into this, I mean, you mentioned something about doing a trading journal, but let's give me top 3 or top 5 things a new trader should have before even starting a prop challenge, should be doing before even starting a challenge. I'd love to hear those.
Yeah, so for one, I have a link also on all my sources that's literally, we'll put this into text form for anybody watching that wants to look at it later. It's a qualification thing, but it kind of helps you go through all the steps, but in a really short, condensed way. Like Chris said earlier, number one is a trading plan. Like if you don't have an if-then process, you're done. Like it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. How long are you going to last without it? Like you might pass that challenge, right? But we've seen the statistics on how many people pass a challenge and then lose it before a payout. So, if you don't have a plan that you have confidence in, and not just confidence, like you have to have rational confidence, which means like you know if you should be confident in something or not. Do you like if you have a tested plan that says, hey, I'm the probabilities are in my favor. You're going to operate and be able to execute easily and go through those losses and losing streaks more so than if you just have something saying, well, I think this trading model kind of works. Like, so number one is a trading plan. Number two, and this is kind of like external to trading, but is you need to have like a very solid routine and a discipline in your whole life. You know what I mean? People can't even maintain waking up the same time every day or going to the gym, and they think they're going to maintain, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, it's crazy to me. So I think that's a big one that a lot of people want to, just forget about. And then really, another big one is financial security. I know these are kind of like external to trading, but I think a lot of people get challenges in hopes of being able to make a lot of money, and they need money. You're already putting yourself at a massive disadvantage, because if you're not playing with money that you're willing to lose, you're going to operate differently. So, number one, trading plan. Number two, have discipline and just a solid routine in your whole life. And number three, be in a financial spot where you're actually going to be able to mentally operate on your A game. So I think those are the three biggest things for people that are trying to get it funded.
Sounds good. What about you, Chris? What about like more specific tools that you might want to recommend to traders?
So I just want to say I love his answer on that. That was really, really good. And I agree wholeheartedly with everything he said. He couldn't be more right. And I was always taught that, if you fail to plan, you should plan to fail, right? So the first thing I'd say, again, agreeing with Casper, trading plan, right? Absolutely critical. And inside of that trading plan, you have to include your risk management, which has to include profit taking, right? You have to have goals. You have to have, just getting in and hoping for the best is not the way to do it, right? Because floating profit is not real profit, right? Unless you actually close that trade and take it off the table, you can lose it very quickly. So that's point number one. The other thing is a risk calculator. That's really important, especially if you're not using static stop losses. If you're doing like a dynamic stop loss approach, as I do, trading candlestick formations and patterns and things like this, then a risk calculator help you.
Is there something you could recommend to our viewers?
We actually have our own. Absolutely. If you head on over to kickstarttrading.com.
Wonderful. Yeah. I said you're beautiful.
The next thing is solid education. And it's kind of, I would argue that this is kind of the first thing, really, because, trading plan is critical, but without education, without understanding how these markets work, doesn't matter what your trading plan is, you have no experience. You at best, you have a 50-50 shot of making something of it, right? At best. And so, really solid education. And then, a good support group helps. Trading can be a very lonely place. So finding a group, networking with other like-minded traders, other people who are trying to do what you do, or what you're trying to do, is really, really helpful. And then the last thing, ideally, in an ideal world, if you can afford it and you can find someone who you trust and who you can relate to, and who you think you can help, a mentor is really a big one, right? Because there's no replacement for experience, as in, you actually experiencing the markets for yourself. Nothing could ever, supplant that.
Yeah.
But when you have a mentor, when the storm comes, it's like having an umbrella there, right? It's someone who's seen it before, someone who's experienced it before. So, this may be very new and shocking to you, but your mentor has seen it 900,000 times, and knows how the story ends and can help guide you through it. So those 5 things: training plan, risk calculator, solid education, a good support group, and ideally a mentor. And incidentally, all of that is available at Kickstart Trading.
Very nice.